And Peter Cardwell, how are you, Peter Cardwell now?
Hello, Jeremy. How are you doing?
Where are you? Oh, God, that's an awful shirt. That doesn't suit you at all. What colour is that? Oh,
it's green.
That washes you out. No, that's dreadful. That washes you out.
Thanks.
Oh,
Thanks.
dear me.
When you say about stepping into people's shoes, I'm reminded of the joke by Billy Connolly. He says, if you want to understand a man, walk a mile in his shoes. If you still don't understand him, who cares? You've got his shoes.
Brilliant. How are you, my friend? What did you make of this astonishing night in American politics? We'll talk about how that impacts the UK. Did you genuinely see this coming, PC? Because when I left last night, Kev and I were like, we hope, but we don't know. He battered her, didn't he?
Yeah, I did think it would happen. I think that the pundits were wrong, the polls were wrong. A lot of people wanted to wish Kamala Harris to the presidency, but the fact is she was an absolutely dreadful campaigner. She was a really bad candidate who was brought in at the last minute. People didn't know who she was. She couldn't answer questions straightforwardly. Why do you want to be president? What are you going to do? She's a technocrat, and she's not someone who can communicate and connect. And you can say what you like about Donald Trump. You can love him or loathe him. He is someone who connects. He's memorable. He's someone who a lot of people feel a connection to and feel that he will sort out many of the problems that America has. There are lots of people who are really annoyed. A lot of friends of mine from America, here in the UK as well, who think it's all going to be dreadful. I always ask the question, what was so bad about what he did between 2016 and 2020?
And looking...
How did he destroy America then? Because I don't think he did.
No, I agree with you. And looking also at the impact that such a seismic result can perhaps have in the United Kingdom. And listen, we all know where this station sits. But let me just for a minute, and I'm not supporting the Tories in this, I'm not supporting Labour. Let's put reform to one side. If what Donald Trump has done does anything, in my humble opinion, it says to voters, right, middle American voters, but now, you know, north of England voters who don't feel that they're listened to, that it's OK to moan, by the way, if some immigrant comes in and takes your money and gets a hotel room. It's OK if you're a pensioner to say, hold on a minute, I paid in all my life. You're not far right, you're not racist, you should be heard. And I have to tell you, I believe when and I think Richard Tice was right, when people in this country look at America in the next 2 years as it grows and its economy starts to flourish, I think people in this country would go, why can't we have a conviction politician? Why can't we have somebody who takes the flak? Reminds me of Mike Graham, right? Mike Graham, my dearest, I love the bones of him. He says what he thinks, right? Mm-hmm. And the reason he's so popular is he doesn't care if you disagree with him, because that's his conviction. And that is essentially, in my mind, what a democracy is all about. But we don't have politicians like that. We have politicians who are too busy listening to focus groups or ideology. Donald Trump will sort out immigration, the economy. A woman will be a woman, right? Honestly, the ideology they teach in American schools, Julie was telling me today, it's extraordinarily bad. He'll do what he says he's going to do, and I think the clamour for that to happen, Pete, in the United Kingdom will become really, really deafening. Really do.
Well, the election in America was won on two issues. One was immigration. Yeah. The other one was the price of groceries, the price of food. Places like Pennsylvania, where loads of people were saying, look, you can say what you like about Kamala Harris. You can start talking about abortion. You can talk about women's rights, which are an important thing that should be debated. Of course they should. But we can't afford to go out and eat and fill the shelves, fill our cupboards at home and make sure that our kids have good, nutritious food. Well, actually, inflation, I mean, you can talk about how much the country makes, GDP and all the rest of it. If people feel their personal inflation is going up, as so many people in the UK do, if people feel that there isn't fairness, for example, a lot of our viewers and listeners feel that the immigration system isn't fair, well, that's actually what a lot of American viewers and a lot of American voters thought. A lot of American voters thought, hold on a second, there's a lot that isn't fair here. And what has been the case for the last 4 years is that Kamala Harris has been part of an administration.
Absolutely.
As Vice President. She's been in charge of immigration and it hasn't been sorted out. And that is quite literally why people voted the way they did. So yes, it's a little bit about Donald Trump and of course his charisma and the fact he connects and all those other points. It's a lot about Kamala Harris being a bad candidate, but it's also about the issues themselves, and that resonates here in the UK as well.
I want to throw something at you because I've got a great clip. Kemi Badenoch, her first Prime Minister's questions today. I was sent this by Richard Tice this morning at some ungodly hour, which I thought was really, really interesting, and I've read it a couple of times. I make no apologies because you've probably been in rehab in that green top. This was 7 years ago. David Lammy said, if Trump ever comes back to the UK, I will be out protesting on the streets. He is a racist KK and Nazi sympathiser. Today he put, congratulations to Donald Trump on your victory. The UK has no greater friend than I, and we look forward to working with you and at JD Vance in the years ahead. this is a subject that Kemi Badenoch had a go at Starmer about. Let's listen to the clip. This was today. Prime Minister's questions, a debut for Kemi. Have a listen.
I would like to start by congratulating President-elect Trump on his impressive victory this morning. The Prime Minister and the Foreign Secretary met him in September. Did the Foreign Secretary take that opportunity to apologise for making derogatory and scatological references, including, and I quote, Trump is not only a woman-hating, neo-Nazi sympathising sociopath, he is also a profound threat to the international order. And if he did not apologise, will the Prime Minister do so now on his behalf?
The Foreign Secretary and I did meet President-elect Trump just a few weeks ago for dinner for about a couple of hours, and we discussed a number of issues of global significance.
The Prime Minister did not distance himself from the remarks made by the Foreign Secretary, and I'm very sure that President Trump will soon be calling to thank him for sending all of those North London Labour activists to campaign for his opponent.
I mean, it was quite a good start by her, wasn't it, Pete?
Yes, I think it was, and she made her points very, very well on that particular point. And certainly David Lammy has egg on his face massively, as do a lot of other Labour activists and many other people on the left who say that, Donald Trump victory is the most awful thing that could possibly happen in the history of humanity. It's not. We'll survive. The world will continue to turn. The special relationship will be fine. There will be some sort of issues, of course, but David Lammy, as Foreign Secretary, as our chief diplomat, is in serious trouble. Now, we know that he had that meeting, he had that dinner with Donald Trump. Donald Trump has shown that he can be conciliatory, that he can work with people, even people who've been very critical of him previously. But Kemi Badenoch was absolutely right to bring that up.
Just very quickly, later on she was criticised by Starmer. He got back at her and said you read, but you think she thought it was a good start, right? Simple?
Yeah, I do think it was a good start. He criticised her from reading from notes and so on. Look, it's her first time. I think she made some very good points. It wasn't quite as barnstorming, perhaps, as some people might have liked, but she'll build up to it. And she's a very, very good opposer. And I think she will get better as time goes on.
PC, so good to see you. Sadly, not in person. I think you're a rehab facility. I think that's actually scrubs. I think you're dealing with your issues. Would that be fair?
No, I'm addicted to Diet Coke, but I think that's about it.